Capital gains arising in respect of depreciable assets. Now, in respect of depreciable assets, we all know that they form part of a particular block of asset, right? So what happens is, let's say you have one asset, you have two assets, three assets, four assets, five assets, which belong to a particular category. These are all clubbed to form a block of asset, right? Let me just increase the width of this pen, right? Now, when one or more, or one greater than one, or all the assets are sold, okay, there can be a situation where there could be a capital gain or a capital loss, right? Whenever this kind of a capital gain or a capital loss arises, and when it arises is a situation which I am going to look with you, this is always a short-term capital gain stroke short-term capital loss for the seller, right? Let's go back. Capital gain on asset forming part of block of asset. So what we saw was that there were various assets which are forming part of the block of asset, okay, right? So in respect of these assets, when they are sold, on which depreciation has been allowed, is computed as under and is always a short-term capital gain or a loss. It can never be a long-term capital gain or a loss. Never long-term, right? Now there can be two situations when the capital gain arises, and let's look at each one of them. Let's say, for example, you have four assets in one block, okay, and the written down value of this block is, let's say, 500, plus you acquire some asset, let's say for 200 during the year, so the total WDV is 700, right? So capital gain can arise in two situations. Let's say, for example, I sell one of these assets, okay, and the price at which I sell it, price is greater than 700, okay. So if the price is greater than 700, this price is always reduced from the total WDV, sale consideration. So let's say it is 800, right? So we will get a negative of 100, which is nothing but a gain on sale of asset. So my value of the assets was 700. I got 800 for it. So 100 was my gain, right? So whenever you sell one or more assets, okay, but not all, one or more, but not all, and price, the selling price is greater than the total written down value, then any difference which arises is a capital gain, right? The second situation can be that you sell all the assets, okay. So I decided I'm going to sell 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them. In this case, there could be two situations again. The selling price is less than 700 or selling price is greater than 700. If it is less than 700, there will be a capital loss. Why? Because I owed an asset for 700 and I've sold all of them. Okay. In this case, it cannot be that, you have written down value of 700. Let's say you sell it for 600. You will take the difference as 100 and keep on charging depreciation on it. No. If all the assets are transferred, then definitely there is either a capital gain or a capital loss. Capital loss if the price is less than the total written down value, and capital gain if the price is greater than the written down value, right? So this is basically the provision in respect of capital gains on sale of depreciable assets. Let's go back and read the theory part. Sale consideration exceeds written down value, right? So my written down value was 700 and my sale consideration was more than 700. In that case, I have to compute capital gain in the following manner. Capital gain is computed as sales consideration less sum of the following. Opening written down value, which I took at 500. Actual cost of the assets acquired, 200. Cost of transfer. So let's say, for example, while selling, I paid a brokerage of 10. Right? And let's say my sale consideration is 100. Then from 100, I'm going to subtract the sum of all these three, which is 710. So 800 minus 710, 90 will be my capital gain. Right? In such a situation, if the sale consideration exceeds written down value, you will have a capital gain. But one interesting point which you should note here is that even in such a case, let's say for example, you had 4 assets, you sold 1, 2, 3, the fourth one continued, right? But what you have is a capital gain of 90. In that case, this asset will continue to remain in the books of accounts. No depreciation will be allowed on this. Why? Because the entire value has been consumed for the purpose of computing capital gain, right? Whenever you sell this asset, whatever money you receive, that will again be chargeable to capital gain. And as I said, these will be short-term capital gain, right? So this is for the first part. Let's look at the second one. Entire block of assets is transferred. So you had 4 assets and you sold all the 4 of them. Capital gains is computed as under. This could be loss as well. Sale consideration minus opening WDV, actual cost of asset acquired, and cost of transfer. Again, let's say same example, 500, 200 and 10. So total is 710. If the selling price is equal to 800, then the gain is going to be the same, 90. If selling price is, let's say, 690, then 690 minus 710 is equal to 20. But this will be a short-term capital loss. Right? So this is the manner in which you compute capital gains in respect of depreciable assets.